Hello, everyone. I'm Spencer, Marketing Manager at Forever Head Office. Welcome to today's webinar. So today's webinar, we're going to be focusing on the new limited edition Argi and Aloe Mini Tripack. So today's webinar is hosted by Louise and Lucy. And this webinar will teach you product information and retailing tips about the new product. We also have a testimonial as well from Mike Butterworth, who will tell us how he's used the products throughout the many challenges he's overcome. You'll also have a chance to ask any questions to our experts as well. So please ask these questions throughout, and we'll try our best at the end to answer these questions as well for you. Also, just to let you know, the webinar is going to be recorded, and the slides and the recording of the webinar will be available on Forever Knowledge. So just a quick disclaimer before I hand over to Louise. So the information in this webinar is for the UK and Ireland only, and we've created this presentation to be correct under UK and Ireland regulations. So if you're tuning in from a different country, some of the information may not be relevant to you. So I'm going to hand over to Louise, who's going to get started. So over to you, Louise.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm really excited to be sharing this information with you all. For those of you who don't know who I am, not only am I a Forever business owner, soaring manager, and have been building a business alongside my husband Ashley for 24 years now. I have been an advisory board member for over 20 years, and I train on most of the different areas of the products. So that is weight management, sports performance, nutrition, all the supplements, and in fact I cover all the different areas, and especially I love talking about products like the Argi and the Aloe, because obviously the Aloe, or drinking gel, is our lifeblood, you might say, of Forever. So let's start with that product. If you wouldn't mind moving the slide forward, please, Spencer. Okay, so this is our little baby. It's our mini aloe vera gel, and just to go through some of the information that you can see on the slide, we'll start off by seeing that it's 330 mils. And with 330 mils, if you kind of think about that, it's around about a third of the big litre that we have with our big drinking gel. Now, when we actually look at the aloe vera, I want to talk about the aloe vera, the 99.7% pure aloe vera gel. What we do as a company, we hand fillet our aloe, and what we do then is we are going to preserve it, you might say, without adding any preservatives. And you think, well, hang on a minute, that sounds a bit strange. How can you preserve it without any preservatives? That is because we actually use a process which is called the aseptic process, and that actually starts as soon as we've taken the gel from inside the leaf. We then take it. This is for example, in the Dominican Republic, we have the facility there, the aseptic process, and what we do is we take that gel and we will put some heat over it, a little bit of steam, which will be for around about 12-15 seconds. And what that's doing, it is locking in all the nutritional content. And that is really, really important, because the main reason for drinking aloe vera is down to the content, the nutritional content. In fact, aloe vera is about 99% water, and aloe vera with the 99% water, you think, oh my gosh, that sounds quite high in water, but actually water is a nutrient, and it's the right medium, you might say, for what happens with all of the other nutrients in there. So there's 75 nutrients that are in that extra 1%. And you might say the power of the aloe is the synergistic effect that all of those nutrients have together. So there's about 14 minerals, 13 vitamins, 19 amino acids, and there's also a collection of enzymes and other goodies as well. But one of the most important ingredients that you have, especially in the aloe that we use, that makes the aloe stand out above any other aloe, there's about 400 different species of aloe, is this monosaccharide which is called ace mannan. And ace mannan, you might say, is the conductor of the orchestra. And without this ace mannan, that's what you might say, the magic wouldn't be there. So you might want to actually think, well, why would you want to drink aloe vera? Well, most people want to have great skin, hair and nails, a good strong immune system, digestive system. They don't want to be tired. They want to have great joints. In fact, most people, they want to be the best that they can be. And that's why people choose to have their aloe vera on a daily basis, because of all the areas that I've mentioned. It's the cocktail of those nutrients in 1%, which makes it very, very special. And as I said, the fact that we have the ace mannan in there as well. So that other little bit of the 0.3% is we have added some vitamin C in there. And that's important for two different roles. First of all, it is known to be an antioxidant, but also it's like a regulator. And it's a little bit like taking lemon juice and putting it on your cut apple. But it's actually high in vitamin C. In fact, there's over 200% of the recommended intake of vitamin C. For those of you I want to know about the packaging, it's nice to know that it is recyclable, and it is known as a beverage. It's actually not known as a supplement, which is also fantastic. Now, because there aren't any preservatives, because we have used this steam, which is going to get rid of any lurking pathogens, if there's anything in there, that once you have opened it, it's very important that you refrigerate it immediately. Because as I say, there's nothing there, it's just as nature intended. And of course, please don't drink it straight from the little bottle. Obviously, if you're going to drink all of it in one go, then yes, drink the 330 mils all in one go, but don't drink half of it and then put it back in the fridge, because it has been round your mouth and you have bacteria in your mouth. Suitable for the whole family. And once you have opened it, it needs to be consumed within a month, and the reason for that is because the nutritional content will start to go down. Now, of course, because it's 330 mils, we don't expect you to be leaving it in the fridge for a month. We expect it to be going in maybe one day or a couple of days. So if we could move to the next slide, please. So that's a little bit about the aloe, and I want to talk about L-arginine. So L-arginine is an amino acid, and it has lots of different roles in the body. In fact, it's necessary to make proteins within the body. That's one of the roles. And in fact, when you understand about L-arginine, it has so many roles in the body that you actually find it in nearly every single cell in the body. And when you can see this word precursor, we want to kind of focus on the reasons that we would be drinking it in our Argi Plus, is because it's a precursor for nitric oxide. And what that means, it will be converted into nitric oxide. How is it converted into nitric oxide? If you look at the top picture there, you can see the blood vessels. What you actually find is that you have an enzyme that is living in the lining of your blood vessels. And this enzyme is called nitric oxide synase. And the thing about this enzyme is that it's the enzyme that will convert the L-arginine into nitric oxide. When the nitric oxide it's been converted to nitric oxide, one of the roles that nitric oxide has in the body is that it will relax the blood vessels. So of course, if you can imagine, look at the bottom picture there, you can see that now by relaxing, your blood vessel is more dilated, and so it is easier for your oxygenated blood, and of course your blood is carrying oxygen and nutrients, to travel around the body. Now, what's quite interesting about this enzyme is that as we age, it becomes less active. It's not so good at actually doing its job of converting the L-arginine into nitric oxide, and that actually starts from the age of 40. So one of the things that you really need to be doing is supporting the health of your blood vessels, and you can do that by exercise and also by having foods that contain antioxidants. And another good thing is to actually look for foods in your diet that are good sources of nitrates. And they can be your leafy green vegetables. It can also be things like spinach and kale. And another one that is quite well known is beetroot. So the reason I'm saying this is that it's the understanding of the importance of nitrates in your body. But L-arginine, very importantly, is what we need to be converted into nitric oxide. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so what we have here then, we have our Argi, and the first thing is, you can see it says it's a delicious and nutritious sports drink. Now, I want you to understand that the Argi can be used as a sports drink. In fact, one of the main reasons I talk about at my trainings is for those people that are active, but I also want you to understand that you don't have to be only taking it if you are taking it as a sports drink. You can take it every single day, as I do. Every morning I'll take it. I'll explain that in a moment. But what we have within the Argi, we have 5 grams of L-arginine. And that is important because you need to make sure you're having enough L-arginine, but very importantly to take the 5 grams of L-arginine all at the same time. So one of the things I would refrain you from doing is putting your Argi sachet, whether you're buying it with our special little mini Tripack or you're buying your big pouch of Argi, to actually just literally put your Argi into some water and sip it, because it's not going to have the same effect. Now, so what's going to happen then by drinking your Argi all in one go? You're going to put 5 grams of L-arginine into your system. That means the enzyme can take that and it can be converted into nitric oxide. The nitric oxide will then relax your blood vessels. But it makes total sense, rather than just putting the Argi, having the Argi with the L-arginine, is to put some other key vitamins into the product as well, which are also known for what they do, especially to support people who are being active. So you can see here we have vitamin C, and that contributes to reduction of tiredness and fatigue, as well as a normal function of the immune system. We have B12 for normal energy yielding metabolism. That is obviously to do with your energy in your body's, the way that you are producing energy through your cells. Then we have B6 for normal protein and glycogen metabolism. So glycogen is the glucose that you store in your body, in your muscles and your liver. So that's also important. Vitamin K for normal bones, and vitamin D for the maintenance of normal muscle function. So you actually have, apart from the vitamin K, you have 100% of your recommended intake of all of those other important vitamins. On top of that, we've also added D-ribose. Now, D-ribose is actually a sugar. I'm not talking about something like a refined sugar, but a natural sugar that is produced in your body. And it is an essential component of something called adenosine triphosphate. I thought I'd put that long word in, but we're going to shorten it down and call it ATP. Now, your ATP is the fuel that provides energy to all of your cells. So I like to talk about adenosine triphosphate when I'm doing my sports trainings, because it is a really important thing to know about. So what we have there, we have all of these goodies which are put alongside that L-arginine. So you can imagine when you have the relaxation of your blood vessels, and then you've got this beautiful delivery of all of these amazing vitamins. Then if we can go to the next slide, which is also important, look at all these fruits. We've got grapeseed, next one along there is the blackcurrants, then it's pomegranates, we have elderberry, raspberry, blueberry, morello cherries. You know, morello cherries have 30 times more vitamin C than an orange. Just a bit more information there. And we have blackberries. If you actually look at the colours of those fruits, they all have red, blue, dark purple skins. And nature actually makes it very easy for us to identify in our fruits and vegetables, which are antioxidants, which are good sources of antioxidants. Now, why would you need to have antioxidants? Well, antioxidants, as I said, are important to support, you know, when we said about that enzyme that starts to not be so active from the age of 40. So antioxidants are good for that. But also when you are being active by doing exercise, you are actually producing something called free radicals, and free radicals is oxidative stress, because it's not normal for your body to be pushed to such extremes. So one of the things that is important then is that after you have exercised, you can also take one of the Argi sachets, because what that's going to do, obviously the relaxation of the blood vessels, and then this delivery of antioxidants. So we need oxygen to go to our muscles that are tired, and we need antioxidants to deal with the free radicals that you have produced by pushing your body to extreme. So the fact that we have now combined this proprietary blend of all of these wonderful fruits, it's a great addition to our Argi Plus. So if you can move to the next slide, please. So here we have a little picture of our mini trio, and you can see there you've got your 3 little minis and you've got your 3 Argis. So if we can move to the next slide, and I just want to talk to you about the best way to take it. So first of all, as you can see, we've got the statement on there about vitamin C and contributing to maintain the normal function of the immune system during and after intense physical exercise. That is important to know, that you have to make sure you're getting enough vitamin C in your body to actually make that statement. And as you can see there, the amounts, I'm not going to read it out, you can read it for yourself. And you are going to get that with your Argi, your little mini, by drinking it all, and also taking an orange. That's the important thing. So when to take it, as you can see from the picture, is that first of all, if you are going to take your Argi, you need to, as I've already said, take all of your Argi in one go. So if you are going to drink all of your aloe vera gel in one go, your 330, which obviously that's what it's been designed for, as a beverage to drink all in one go, is that you put your Argi into your little mini, but you need to drink it let's say all in one go. So if you're going to be active, you can do that before you do the sport, literally before you do the sport, because the relaxation of your blood vessels will start around about 10 minutes after taking your Argi. So it's important to do that. It has a half-life, which means it's going to start not to be so active after about an hour. So that's why it's important not to drink your aloe vera gel and your Argi half an hour before getting in your car and driving to the gym. You need to be taking it literally before you do the exercise. As I said, you don't have to take it just because you're doing exercise. What I do every morning, I take my Argi. I also add in my super greens, and I also added a new Q10 as well. But I put that into a glass, and then I take all of the aloe, just like that 330, and I mix it all together and I drink it down. Now, remember what I was saying about nitrates. Interesting that within the super greens, not only have we added in more vitamin C, vitamin E, and magnesium, but also we have the kale and the spinach, and the leafy green vegetables. So you're taking something first thing in the morning, and it's setting you up for the day. Okay. If you only want to have maybe half of your aloe vera gel with your Argi, then make sure you are taking it out of the container, putting it in a glass as in the picture there, and adding your Argi sachet to it. But please remember, your Argi has to be drank all in one go. And obviously your aloe vera gel, if you only want to drink a third or a half, that's fine. But if it's been designed for your 330. So that's me finished, I believe. And thank you very much. Let's now listen to Lucy.
Hello everybody, I'm absolutely delighted to have been invited here particularly because I think a lot of you might be able to identify with me. Just to tell you a little bit about my background first, I'm a single mum to a 2-year-old toddler. Life is busy. I'm also mid-divorce. And it's been amazing recently, the impact, even as a senior manager, that the retail opportunity has been able to have for me just on my day-to-day income and just having a little bit more money in my pocket. So I was so pleased to be invited to do this because, like I say, I think lots of you will be able to identify with a little bit of my story and my retail journey. So next slide, please. You will see here quite a proud achievement of mine, the Aloe wall, as I think Jane Leach called it. And at the start of this year, you could say that, you know, for all I'd been 4cc active every month for 7 years, I'd never missed 4cc. I've got to be honest and say that sometimes it was a little bit of a struggle, and that was entirely down to my bad planning. And I think I didn't really have enough of a focus on the most consumable products in our range, which is things like the Aloe gel and also the Argi. And I was very fortunate to become part of a challenge to retail as many of the Tripacks as I could. And I like a challenge, I like a competition, but more than anything, it was just really a good opportunity for me to draw a line in the sand with my retail. I'd never been a retail queen, but there was no reason why I couldn't turn that around. I just felt that I'd been in the business a little bit too long to be still plodding along with my retail. And it's fantastic just to be able to have that immediate cash flow that the retail opportunity gives us. So as you can see, my plan got to work, I got to work, and the results were absolutely amazing. So with this new Tripack that's came out, it's really given me and you the opportunity to take up the challenge and really go for it again. So if you are somebody who needs to boost their retail, do take seriously what I do say. It doesn't matter where your retail is right now. Anybody can start with this Tripack, with this challenge to build an absolutely amazing repeat consumable customer base month in, month out. So next slide, please. So what I actually did was I managed to go from having just 1 or 2 regular gel drinkers, the shame, to having over 30 gel drinkers within just under 60 days by really making it my focus. And that was going to be such a good, stable customer base that came back to me every single month, because the beauty of the gel, as you know, people drink it every month, either 2 or 3 bottles. And so it's the easiest kind of customer base that you can look after, because they come back all the time for more. And yes, they're going to use lots of our other fantastic products, but what you do want is to always underpin your business by having gel drinkers in place, just so that you aren't having to look for lots of customers all the time. They're very happy drinking the gel, using the Argi, the very consumable products. And then on top of that, they might be using skincare, our fantastic deodorant, which never seems to run out, does it? So if I can do that and build that customer base, I know for a fact you guys can too. So I'm going to take you through a little bit about what it is that I did. So next slide, please. This here was one of the reasons that I really had my attention pricked, you could say. Like I just mentioned before, I am a single mum going through a divorce, and it is just amazing to know that we can access some profit from the retail opportunity really, really quickly. And so we put this slide together just to really capture your attention of what you could be achieving and putting into your pocket as quickly as you like by really focusing for the next month or so on this new Tripack. Depending on which level you are at the marketing plan, you can have a look there to see what the profit margin is going to be for you. But maybe think about a personal goal that you'd love to achieve in the next month. If you're a parent, it might be that the kids are now off on holiday. Well, very nearly next week they break up, and kids are expensive. They'll want to do lots of things. And so why not create yourself a little bit of a retail goal based on the profit that you would like to achieve from this new Tripack, and also to take up the challenge where you could win an Apple Watch, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. It might be that you want to focus on selling 10 of these, and the profit at the very least is going to be about £100. But most importantly, off the back of that, you're probably going to have somebody who turns into a regular gel drinker and probably an Argi user, and they are probably the 2 best products in the whole of our range to build a repeat customer base on. So I think that is pretty exciting stuff. Next slide, please. So what I actually did, and all of you can replicate this same thing. And I love that in our business, everything can be duplicatable. It's all in the first steps to manager. And with challenges like this, it's no different that you need to start out with some kind of list, it's some kind of database. And so you can go to your contact list that you have in place. And what I chose to do was I chose to pick off and write a list of 100 people that maybe I had the best relationships with, people that maybe were existing customers or maybe once were customers. They might have at some point did a C9, but they hadn't turned into a regular customer. There might be people that were like me, that were busy living lives where they didn't really get to look after themselves very well. People that I just had some kind of rapport with. And some people that maybe faced the same challenges that I did, just with being a mum and not really having that time to go to the gym and really invest in themselves. So when I had that list of people that I could really comfortably contact from my wider Who Do You Know list, I began to contact those people. And the first thing that I did, and this is one of the first top tips I'll give you, is I sent them just a nice personal message to say, hey, how are you? Looks like you had a fantastic holiday or weekend, whatever it might be. I've got a quick question for you when you've got a minute. And I just left it there and I awaited that person's response. And everybody likes a little bit of intrigue and curiosity. And it meant that I did get an overwhelming response to people saying, well, what is it you want to ask me? And because they were then engaged, it made it really easy for me then to introduce the next part of what I'm going to say to you. Because also I largely did focus on people like me who were mums and knew what those kind of people's challenges might be. And I think it's always really good to try to have some common ground and to identify with a person, because I think all too often people are too product-led and too salesy, whereas when they really talk about the benefits and the emotions associated with what that person might have as a challenge in their life, it means that a product can become more accessible. They can see it in their life. They can see it being something that they would want to use. And so what I tended to say to people was, listen, I know if you're anything like me, I know you're a busy mum. I know you're always running all over the place, doing school runs, things like that. And I bet you are the last person in the line to get any TLC, to look after yourself, to treat yourself. I bet you always, if you've got any spare cash, usually spend it on the kids or something like that. I bet you're always a little bit tired, run down, you're burning the candle at both ends, getting things done so you can have a little bit of time to yourself. You maybe stay up too late. Am I right that you are in a position where you could look and feel a little bit better and that would really benefit you? It was something along those lines that I said. I was just personal, and I did that by a voicemail. And I did an individual voicemail to each person. And because that person was nodding along with me going, yes, that's me, I feel like that. I never get to look after myself. I am last in the queue for any kind of treats. What I then could say to that person when they'd responded with some common ground was, if I told you that I've experienced a real difference to how I look and how I feel, just very simply by introducing a shot of aloe vera first thing in the morning, would you like to hear a little bit more? Would you like me to send you some information? And overwhelmingly, people said yes. So next slide, please. So you'll probably see that I've not mentioned the price at this stage. I am literally just creating that common ground, talking about a few of the benefits that I'd experienced compliantly and offering some information. And I use some of the brilliant company tools that we've got. You can see the PDF that I use there that is from Forever Knowledge, which is really important to use if you are sharing information in the UK. So it's UK compliance regulated. And I sent over this PDF just so people could have a little bit of a read and have a look at which of the gels that they quite fancied. It meant that most people then had a read, they understood the benefits a little bit more. It wasn't just me as one of their friends on Facebook telling them about it. There was a little bit more social proof there when they saw this PDF. And often people did get back to me then and say, I quite like the sound of the peach one, for instance. Next slide, please. And then we could just chat a little bit more about it. But I hadn't actually mentioned the price at all, because I think sometimes we are quite quick to mention the price. And often that can make you sound quite salesy rather than people just want to hear about how it could work in their life. If there's going to be any benefit to them first, the price should be one of the last things that we do talk about. But of course, it is something that comes up. And I've always found it's much better to talk about the price based on how much it'll cost per day, rather than the price for 2 or 3 bottles, whatever that might be. Because, for instance, selling at full price, if you were talking about a Tripack of our gel, that would mean it's going to cost somebody just over £2. It's £2.16-ish per day for them to have 100 mils per day. Or if they want to drink a little bit less, they want to have 60 mil per day, it would be £1.46. So that is at full price as well. So what I said to people was, we've got a challenge going on right now, and it really just depends how much of a benefit you want to see and feel. It's the difference between whether you want to look great or feel good, or a little bit less. And people absolutely snapped my hand off because they could see that a couple of pound a day was something that they regularly spend anyway on a trashy magazine, some junk food, maybe a coffee. And so it became very accessible for them to see how they could look and feel great by just investing a couple of pounds per day in themselves. So next slide, please. So that's exactly what you could also do, that exact same framework you could do with this new mini pack. Put together a list of people that you would love to experience the benefits that Louise has already talked through. It doesn't have to just be people who are into the sport. It could be people who've got busy lives that maybe don't get to look after themselves. They mightn't get to eat as well as they would like to. They might be on the go all the time. There might be people who are just really interested in their health, because remember, in our company, we're always looking for people who are interested in health rather than interested in illness. And so it really does make this a fantastic product that could be accessible right across the board. And what I love with the retail price is the fact that it is £28. And on average, we know in the UK, people spend between £25 and £30 per month very comfortably, even as a first spend. And that is something that people will happily spend every single month. So it means that this little Tripack is very accessible to absolutely everybody. But you can see there, if you did want to talk about this in terms of taking it over the course of 10 days, you can see what the price would be there. And it makes it so easy for people to go, yeah, I'll give that a go if that's what the benefits are. So next slide, please. So it gives you such a good opportunity to give your retail a real boost, like I took up at the start of this year. And if I can go from having 2 gel drinkers to having over 30 within just 60 days, imagine the spin-off off the back of you taking up these challenges. Imagine what the profit margin's going to be for you and the repeat order potential. And you're going to have a fantastic customer base that are ordering high value products every single month, which is exactly what you want. And then imagine if you could then duplicate that within your team, what that would do for everybody's business. And you would have some very happy, healthy customers. So next slide, please. So just to also tell you what I've done to retain and follow up with these customers, because I think it's just such an important part to master. If you want to have some happy customers, I really do believe in looking after them really, really well, staying in touch, chasing the relationship and getting to know people rather than only getting in touch when it comes to them reordering. So just to give you a little tip of mine, in my 1 to 31 folder, which you might be able to see too well there, it's got just the little inserts, the dividing inserts you might be able to see next to my finger there. And 1 to 31 literally just symbolises the days of the month. What I've got is all of my gel drinkers live in one plastic pocket, and they live on a Friday, and they continually move every week to the next Friday. And it's made me get really, really good and creative with my customer care, to stay in touch with people, to build relationships. And I'm not getting in touch every time just about an order. One week it might be that I send them an article that I've saved because I know they're into dance or whatever it might be. It might be another week that I post them the Aloe Life magazine that they don't have yet. It might be that I comment on some of their posts. But every Friday, my gel drinkers, because they're all in here, do get some real focused interaction. And it's meaning for me that because I'm getting to know them, getting to know their needs, their family, what they're doing, where they're going on holiday, we're actually building real friendships. It's even beyond just relationships now. And that is absolutely lovely. because I'm now finding, because there's a real trust relationship there, they are bringing me referrals and I don't even have to ask for an order. I'm just in touch anyway, and they say, Lucy, actually, you need to place an order for me for my next Tripack, whatever it might be. The orders are coming to me naturally. These are the people as well that I'm focusing my experience packs on, and it's just meaning that I'm really building a very, very solid customer base where I feature in their lives quite heavily now. So don't be shy either if people don't naturally get in touch with you to reorder. I tend to have just a couple of order dates per month just to keep myself organised. I tend to order on the 1st and the 15th of every month. My customers know that now as well. I've been very upfront about it, and it just means that you can really comfortably say, I'm putting my next order in on the 15th. Just let me know if you would like anything adding to it. I usually do that 2 to 3 days before if they haven't already contacted me about an order. The worst they're going to say is no, but if you're looking after them well and building those relationships, you are going to see a huge, huge difference to your retail. So I hope that that's been useful. And can we have the next slide, please? The impact has been phenomenal. It really, really has. It's such a breath of fresh air and a weight off your shoulders, and it gives you so much more brain space if you can get your 4cc out of the way, done in the first week, and that will happen by focusing on the consumable products, looking after your customers, having a good follow-up system, and making sure that you are just gathering your orders together. So you're grouping your orders together. That's what I really like to do. So my big order goes in on the 1st of the month. I'm pretty much 4cc active straight away. It leaves the rest of the month for looking after my customers, for getting experience packs out. I've pretty much doubled my retail because of this, by having that early focus. But most importantly for me now, it's bringing in over £400 a month in retail profit, which is paying for my daughter to do lots of activities without me having to worry. It's paying for our food shopping. It puts fuel in the car. It's if I go out for friends, I can buy a coffee and a cake. I don't have to choose. It just gives lots more pocket money, money in your purse, so that you have always got that cash flow. And I'm really enjoying now the relationships that I've got with my customers. I don't feel like I'm ever desperate for a sale, because that 4cc plus is done. I can relax into my business a little bit more and really chase that relationship rather than be there chasing the sale. And because these relationships are really, really developing so much, these customers are also now falling in love with the gel, and they're also turning into prospects. Excuse me, and there's no better business owner, no better forever business owner than one that absolutely loves the products. That is something that is so, so cool if you can have a thriving team full of people who absolutely love and use the products. So next slide, please. So at this stage, I'm going to let Spencer click onto the video. We've got a really exciting testimonial by one of our Fit ambassadors, Mike.
Hi there, good evening. It's Mike Butterworth here. I'm one of your Fit ambassadors. I'm an endurance athlete with a particular passion for medium and long distance triathlons. Fairly new to the sport of triathlon. I only learned to swim a couple of years ago. So over the last couple of years I've been building up my strength and my endurance, starting with the shortest of local triathlons, building all the way up to the big one, which some of you will know as Ironman. That's where you do a 2.4 mile open water swim, followed by 112 miles on the bike, and then top that all off with a marathon run of 26.2 miles. I often get asked, what products do I take to make my body stronger? And what do I take to make my arms and legs go faster? And for me, it's less about products that I take to enhance performance, and it's much more about what I can do and what I can take to maintain consistency in my training. It's the consistency and the progressiveness of the training that makes you faster and stronger. Over the last 2 years, my trainer has devised over 1,248 sessions for me to complete. That's an average of about 12 sessions every single week. I've missed only 4, and that was due to international travel. But importantly, the key thing for me is that I haven't missed a single session due to either illness or injury. I use a range of Forever products which I find incredibly useful. It's important, however, to use these in the context of a healthy, balanced diet. It's also important to make sure I get enough calories of the right sort, and you will find on the Fit website a calculator application which helps you calculate the right number of calories for an active lifestyle, and you can share that with your clients. In addition, obviously plenty of rest, both in the form of sleep. I try and get at least 8 hours sleep every night if I can, and a program that's correctly structured to allow different muscle groups to recover on different days. Key products for me are obviously the Aloe and the Argi Plus. We all know the aloe and its powerful cocktail of ingredients helps to support the immune system, and it's the immune system that gets compromised by intense training. So I choose to take this both morning and night with my other supplements. The Argi Plus is my pre-workout secret weapon, but its vitamin C also helps support my immune system, and the B6 contained contributes to normal protein and glycogen metabolism. So I always mix this with my Argi before I head to bed. I'm 49 in the next couple of months, and my trainer says he's never seen anyone my age train as hard or progress as fast and not fall foul of either injury or illness. So if there's anyone on the webinar tonight who's approaching 50 or beyond, then there's hope for us all. He's now a great fan of Forever's products and is convinced they're an essential part of the program I follow. Hope that's been of interest. Hope it's possibly given a slightly different slant on how to look at Forever's products in the context of sport. I hope you enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thanks a lot.
So, as ever, the company really do help us and support us as much as possible. And they've put together a really useful toolkit so you can really make the most of this campaign and do so compliantly. And it makes it very duplicatable within your team if you can all be using and sharing the same literature and the same adverts, social media posts, images. So if you have a look on Forever Knowledge, you will see all of those things available. But what I really like, and it's been going down quite well on my customer groups, is all of the blogs that the company are now doing. Again, just to add a little bit more social proof. People like to read things. And I think if you think about your social media, your customer groups, a little bit like if somebody's picking up a magazine to read, it'll have lots of different elements in there. And if they can read a blog about somebody who is using these products from lots of different backgrounds, what the benefits might be and how it could work for them, then it really does help to boost your sales and also to boost your customers' confidence. So you can see there is now 5 different blogs available. And even if you aren't on Forever Knowledge yourself, if you have a look and make sure that you've liked Bob Parker's UK Facebook page, all of these blogs do get shared there as well. So we've got some fantastic resources through our social media from the company direct. So just make sure that you are using the tools, sharing them, making sure that your team know about them also, because it'll absolutely help you out. Next slide, please. But very excitingly, just in case you missed this, there is a retail incentive this month where by retailing as many of these little mini Tripacks as possible, you could win one of the fantastic, I really want one myself, Apple Watches. So that is a fantastic prize. It's going to be happening quite a few different areas and different countries. You can see there on the screen. But within the UK, I believe there's going to be 5 winners here in the UK from people who have sold the most of these packs throughout this month. But if you do want to find out a little bit more about the rules of the incentive, you can pop across to the link at the bottom of there just to find out the finer detail. But who doesn't want to win an Apple Watch? That would be absolutely incredible. So use all the tools available. Go back and watch this webinar again, learn a little bit more about the unique selling points of our products, maybe implement a few of my retailing tips, pull all that together, get a little bit competitive and set some retailing goals. And there's no reason you couldn't double or treble your retail over the next month going into the summer to have a little bit of extra money in your pocket and maybe win an Apple Watch. So we'll just go on to the next slide, which is just to let you know that we've been open tonight for any questions that you guys wanted to submit to either myself or Louise. And I believe Spencer has been there in the background having a look to see which ones that we are going to answer live now. So Spencer.
Yeah, hi you guys. Yeah, thank you so much, Lucy and Louise. I think that was absolutely brilliant. I'm sure you'll all agree. And hopefully you've taken a lot away from the webinar as well. And it's going to help you. I'm sure it will help you grow your retail businesses. And as Lucy mentioned, just make sure that you're using all of the tools available that the staff at head office create, such as the blogs, social posts, and the other tools. So on to some questions. So we've had a question from Cheryl, who has asked, does the Argi contain potassium?
I presume that's for me.
Yeah, please.
The only added ingredients that we have in there, we don't have any minerals in there at all. So the only added ingredients are vitamins. So no potassium's been added.
Another question we've had. So how do you retail the gel to people who have tried it in the past but are no longer interested because they were not consistent in taking it?
I think it's a perfect opportunity to maybe see what they found was the problem was being consistent. And it's one of the things that I've always been quite strong with when I do my delivery of the gel. I always like to go and hand deliver it. And I tell people about how I've made sure that I'm really consistent with taking it myself. And I tell them just a very brief story about how I come downstairs in the morning, I turn the kettle on so the water's boiling in the kettle. When I go into the fridge, I get my milk out for my coffee, and I also get my aloe out at the same time. I have my aloe while I'm there waiting to make my coffee, because most people will drink some kind of hot drink in the morning. That's almost something that's become quite habitual to them. They don't think about doing it. And so I think as long as you coach them to link a habit to a habit that they've already got, then it becomes something that you can create as a consistent habit. And so it does plant a little seed in the head just for them to maybe give it a go again. Ask them what they do first thing in the morning. Definitely if they don't have a coffee, ideally if they are getting something out the fridge, that is a good thing. But that is the way that I always put it to my customers. And I always find that they do get regularly into the habit of drinking it, especially if you're giving good follow-up and you're in touch the day after you've dropped it off to see how they're getting on. Did they have their first shot this morning? How did they get on with the taste of it? Those kind of things. I follow them up again 3 days later just to see how they're getting on. And because I'm kind of in the front of their mind, they're creating a little bit of a routine based around the morning routine they already have. I've never found it a problem because I make sure they've got that information and we've had that chat first. So maybe just use this challenge to go back to any of your old gel drinkers, anybody who's dormant that's fell off the wagon, and just maybe talk to them in that sense about what benefits would they like to experience, what was it that they were really wanting to take the gel for in the first place, and would it be worth them trying it for 10 days just to have 100 ml a day to see if they could form that good habit. I usually mention as well that it does take about 20 to 25 days to form a new habit, and so I really do make sure that I walk people through that first 3 weeks so that by that point it's a habit and we don't need to worry about it. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, brilliant. It definitely does. Another question. So where can we get the recording of this webinar? So again, I'm happy to answer this one, guys. So the webinar is going to be available on Forever Knowledge after this. as will the slides as well. So under the webinar section on Forever Knowledge. So watch this space, and we're going to add it probably towards the start of next week. On to the next question. A lot of people dislike the taste of the aloe. So can the Argi be mixed with aloe berry nectar or peaches?
Yeah. Of course it can. You know, whatever you want to mix it with, you can mix it with the any of them, even the Freedom. So it's a very versatile product.
Okay, brilliant. What other questions have we got? So we've had a question. Can we have the prices again on the Tripack?
I believe it was £28 something in the UK. In pounds, sorry.
Maybe go back to that slide, Spencer.
Yes, I was going to say.
Yeah, we can go back to that slide.
Oh, there we go. Just like that, magic.
There we go. Okay. Just looking to see if we've got any other questions that we haven't answered. What have we got? So we've had Yinka who's asked, can Argi Plus be diluted with aloe gel?
What? Can
Argi be diluted with aloe vera gel?
I mean diluted as far as putting it into water? Do you think that's what they mean?
Yeah, I would say so.
And there's no need to put it into water if you're putting it into your aloe vera gel. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but I don't really see the relevance of doing it. The whole idea really that you don't have to put Argi into 300 mils of water as it is directed if you are buying the kind of the big pack of it. But you just literally can put it into any kind of beverage, and that's the whole idea of being able to put it into the little mini. So you can, but there's no relevance, if you see what I mean.
Okay, brill. We've had Janet who's asked, why take Argi overnight? Okay.
One of the things that L-arginine does, it has, as I said, it has lots of different roles in the body. We've spoken about the nitric oxide because that was the main one, but also one of the reasons that Mike was talking about it at night time is because L-arginine also has a role as it enhances the response of the human growth hormone, and your human growth hormone is 70% of it is actually activated at night time, and it's one of the hormones that helps your body through its recovery phase while you sleep. So if you can imagine with what Mike has been doing with all that activity that frightens the life out of me, that if he's taking his Argi at night time, then of course there's two things that's going to happen. You're going to have the relaxation of the blood vessels, which means that oxygen is going to the tired muscles, and of course your body goes through its recovery at night, and it's going to have an effect on the human growth hormone, which also helps the body while it recovers while you sleep. And then, as he importantly said, he looks to get at least 8 hours of sleep. That's because to have your melatonin at its best, you need to have 8 hours of activity of melatonin, and melatonin is only released while you sleep. So that's another thing that helps your body to recover. So it's a combination of two things really. To take everything at night while you sleep, take the L-arginine because that's going to have effect on your human growth hormone, and also to help the delivery of oxygen to your tired muscles. Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. Great response, Louise. So we've got time for maybe a couple more questions. So we've had one, can I take Argi while on the C9?
Yeah, that's your answer.
Short and sweet. Okay, we've got another one. Can you mix Argi in shakes?
Yeah, you can. In fact, what I say is that what Mike was talking about, I mean, the most important thing about the Argi is that you need to take it at the time that you want the result for. So you can take it before exercise, and that's exactly what Mike was taking before exercise. Then, of course, after exercise, within an hour, you have a Windows hour of opportunity through your recovery phase straight after exercise. So what I suggest people to do is to put their Argi into their shake as a post-exercise shake. But what you do there, you take 2 scoops of the powder, which is going to give you 28 grams of protein, which is the kind of amount that your body would need after exercise. But you mix it with water, not with any other kind of beverage like milk or anything, because water gets into your body faster than milk, and then put your Argi sachet into that. So that would be my post-exercise shake with the Argi together. You can obviously put your Argi in your shake if you're taking it at any other time of the day, but especially post-exercise, it's fabulous.
Yep, great tips there. So the final question of today's webinar, I think it's a great question. So who else would take Argi other than sporty people?
Everyone. I think what you have to remember is that that what I do in the morning, like I say, I'm you know, I don't want to be doing too much exercise in the morning because I might break a nail. So I like to take it first thing in the morning, not because I'm going down the gym, but because, and I do exercise, I'm only joking, but I take it in the morning because I want to get my body going. I want to, you know, it's been sluggish because I've been sleeping, want to get up in the morning, and I want to get that, I want to get the oxygen getting around my body, and I want the oxygen, the oxygenated blood that carries nutrients around my body to start working, because every single 46 trillion cells in my body need nutrients and oxygen for metabolism. So that's why I say everybody can be taking their Aloe and their Argi in the morning, and don't forget to put your super greens in there too. Okay, there we go.
Brill. Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it. And as I said before, I think it was a great webinar. So, and we hope to see you all on the next webinar as well.